The rain outside the window was hammering down like beads off a broken string, pounding against the floor to ceiling windows with a sharp, relentless crackle that made the warm yellow light in the wedding room sway unsteadily. I had just slipped off my high heels. The hem of my wedding dress still pulled at my feet, stained with a bit of champagne from the banquet, when I heard the phone beside me suddenly ring with a piercing shrill. Lu Jingqin practically sprang up like a reflex, grabbing the phone and heading straight for the balcony, moving so fast it was like he was terrified I might overhear the conversation. His back was to me, shoulder slightly hunched. His voice dropped to a near whisper, but the room's sounding wasn't that good, and I could still catch fragments here and there. Lu Jingqin lowered his voice and said, "Why now of all times? Don't you know what day it is?" He paused, then softened his tone. All right, don't run around. Just wait at the airport exit. I'll come pick you up right now." I walked barefoot to the balcony door, and the icy wind, laced with rain, slapped against my face, making me shiver. "It's this late. Who's calling?" I didn't raise my voice, but every word carried a heavy weight of accusation. Lu Jingqin spun around sharply, a flicker of panic flashing in his eyes, but it morphed into impatience in the blink of an eye. "No one important, just a friend, stuck at the airport in this downpour. I'm going to pick them up." He said this while already moving toward the bedroom, reaching for the black trench coat hanging on the rack. "A friend." I stepped forward, blocking his path, my fingertips accidentally brushing against the cold, biting metal buttons of his coat. "Lu Jingqin, tonight is our wedding night. The rain outside could flood a car. What kind of friend is worth the groom leaving his bride to brave the storm for?" Lu Jingqin frowned, his tone dropping 3 degrees. "Such Qinghua, don't be unreasonable. She's just a young girl, first time here, doesn't know anyone. If she gets soaked and falls sick, what then?" I let out a bitter laugh, pointing toward the living room where the champagne tower still stood untouched, the big red double happiness character plastered on the TV wall, glaringly bright. "I'm a girl, too. I just bowed with you in the ceremony, just drank the cross-cuffed wine with you. You're leaving me alone in this empty wedding room. Aren't you afraid of chilling my heart?" "Chilling your heart?" Lu Jingqin yanked my wrist away with a force that made me stumble, his coat already draped over his shoulders. "It's just picking up someone. An hour tops. Stay home and behave. Don't throw a tantrum." "Lu Jingqin," I raised my voice, my throat tightening. "The person you're going to pick up is by Ruachi, isn't it?" The moment those 3 words left my mouth, Lu Jing's face changed instantly. The last shred of Figned patience shattered completely. "So what if it is?" He gave up all pretense, a hint of self-righteousness in his eyes. "She specifically changed her flight just to come back and give me her wedding blessings. Now she's stranded at the airport. I have no reason not to help. Wedding blessings." I found the words utterly absurd, a tightness pressing against my chest. If she really wanted to bless us, why didn't she come to the wedding ceremony earlier? Why pick a rainy night on our wedding day? "Lu Jingqin, do you even have any regard for me, your newlywed wife?" I said. "Stop making a scene." Lu Jingqin's voice was thick with irritation. He grabbed the umbrella by the entrance without even pausing. "I'll be back soon. Don't overthink this. If you step out that door, don't even think about stepping back into this home." I shouted at his retreating back, my voice carrying a note of finality. No hint of tears. Lu Jingqin's steps hesitated for half a second, but in the end, he didn't turn back. The door slammed shut with a loud bang, shaking the wedding photo on the wall. Soon the roar of a car engine came from downstairs, then gradually faded into the sound of the rain. I stood there staring at the wedding dress pulling around me on the floor, not a single tear falling. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from Butler Lee, asking if I wanted a glass of warm milk, brought up. I stared at the screen, my fingers flying to type 4 words. Activate the plan. Butler Lee was a longtime servant of the Su family, having served since my grandfather's time. I made sure to bring him along when I married into this house, just in case a day like this came. The so-called plan was something I had worked out with my family before the wedding. If Lu Jingqin ever betrayed me, I would walk away with everything, leaving nothing behind. I walked into the bedroom, picked up my personal phone from the nightstand, and dialed Butler Lee's number. My voice was as calm as if I were discussing something trivial. I said, "Butler Lee, immediately notify the family's finance department to transfer all assets from my 1 trillion dowry, including cash, stocks, and real estate into an overseas private account. Not a single cent can stay behind." Butler Lee replied, "Understood, madam. I'll arrange it right away." I added, "Also, pack up all my personal belongings left in the Liu family mansion and have them delivered to the villa in the western suburbs tonight. Move quickly and don't alert anyone in the Liu household." Butler Lee responded, "Got it. Rest assured, madam. It'll be done within half an hour at the latest." After hanging up, I walked into the walk-in closet, pulled open the hidden compartment at the back, and took out the identity documents I had prepared long ago, along with a signed agreement. This 1 trillion dowry was the confidence the Su family gave me. It wasn't meant for me to subsidize Lu Jingqin and his white moonlight. I slipped into my flat shoes, picked up the small bag I had packed earlier, and took one last look at this wedding room that was supposed to be the starting point of my happiness. The moment I stepped out of the Lu family's gate, the icy rain dampened the tips of my hair. The black minivan Butler Lee had arranged was already silently waiting at the alley entrance. Seeing me come out, the driver immediately grabbed an umbrella and jogged over to escort me. As I settled into the car, the warmth of the heater wrapped around me, mingling with a faint scent of sandalwood. I rubbed my cold fingertips together, and just as I got comfortable, Butler Lee's call came through. Butler Lee said, "Madam, I've already contacted the family's finance director. The asset transfer instructions have been sent out. The cash portion of your 1 trillion dowry will be fully transferred into the overseas private account within 30 minutes. The legal team has also started the procedures for the stock and real estate transfers overnight. All documents were prepared in advance, so there won't be any issues." I leaned back against the seat, watching the street lights blur past the window, my tone flat. The servants at the Liu mansion didn't get suspicious, did they? Butler Lee said, "Don't worry, madam. I just told them you had an urgent family matter and asked me to pick up some personal items. They all think you're just staying at your parents' house for a few days. No one thought twice about it." I hummed an acknowledgement and added, "Don't forget the jewelry sets and custom gowns in the master bedroom's closet, as well as my personal stationery from the study. Also, drive my limited edition sports car from the Liu family garage to the western suburbs villa. Don't leave it there for someone else to enjoy." Butler Lee replied, "Noted, madam. I've already sent driver Shirine to pick up your sports car. He's heading to the western suburbs villa now. Your personal items have been packed into 3 large boxes and will arrive at the villa within 10 minutes." The car turned onto a quiet tree-lined road, pulling further and further away from the Liu mansion. I took out my phone and blocked all contact methods related to Lu Jingqin, his WeChat phone number, and even the work number he often used. After that, I sent a brief message to old Master Su, proceeding as planned. No need to show any more mercy to the Liu family. The moment the message was sent, old Master Su's call came through. His voice carried its usual steadiness, but there was a hint of concern hidden beneath it. Old Master Su said, "Qinggu, did that brat Lu Jingqin do something to wrong you? Don't hold back your grievances. The Su family will always be your backbone. That 1 trillion dowry was meant to be your safety net. If he dares to say a single word out of line, I'll make sure the Liu family can't hold their head up in the business world." I held the phone, my throat tightening slightly, but my voice remained calm. "Grandfather, don't worry. I'm not holding back. I've just seen his true colors, and he's not worth me wasting any more time. Please keep an eye on the asset transfer. I'm heading to the western suburbs villa now. Once I'm settled, I'll come back to the company and help you manage the business." Old Master Su said, "Good. It's good to have you back. Your position at the company has always been waiting for you." Whatever you want to do. Grandfather supports you. If Lu Jingqin dares to show up, just have the bodyguards kick him out. No matter what happens, I've got your back. After hanging up with old Master Su, the car had already arrived at the entrance of the western suburbs villa. This villa was one I bought myself before marriage. The interior design was entirely based on my preferences, and the security system was top-notch. Only 2 regular servants took care of it, ensuring maximum privacy. As I got out of the car, I saw butler Li standing at the door with 2 servants. 3 packed suitcases piled nearby, not far away at the garage entrance. My limited edition sports car was already parked there. Butler Li hurried over to greet me and took my small bag. Madam, the hot water is ready in the villa, and the kitchen has prepared some warm congee. Please go ahead and freshen up, change your clothes, and warm yourself up. I nodded and followed him inside. As soon as I stepped into the living room, a video call from the family's financial director came through. I signaled for Butler Li to leave, walked over to the sofa, sat down, and answered the call. The financial director said, President Su, I'm reporting to you. The cash portion of your 100 billion Dowry assets has been fully transferred, 30 billion in total, deposited into private accounts across 5 different countries. As for the remaining 70 billion in equity and real estate, including your shares in the Su Group, 3 office towers in the city center, and 2 overseas estates. All the change of ownership procedures have been completed with the legal team's assistance. These assets are now completely disconnected from the Lu family. Even if Lu Jingqin tries to investigate, he won't find a single clue. I nodded slightly. Well done. Next, keep a close eye on the Lu family's financial movements, especially Lu Jin's company accounts. Report any anomalies to me immediately. The financial director said. Understood, President Su. I'll monitor it 24/7 and ensure you get feedback as soon as possible. After hanging up, I stood and headed upstairs, passing by the living room's floor-to-ceiling windows. I glanced at the rain outside. Lu Jingqin should still be at the airport picking up by Ruachi. He had no idea that by just stepping out to fetch a friend, he'd lost the 1,000 billion Dowry that could have taken his company to the next level. And me, his wife, who was supposed to stand by his side, entering the bedroom. I took off my rain-soaked jacket and stepped into the bathroom. Hot water sprayed from the shower head, washing over me, driving away the chill. I stared at myself in the mirror. My wedding dress had long been tossed aside, and my makeup was slightly smudged, but there was no trace of hesitation left in my eyes. Only resolve and calm after washing up and changing clothes. I went downstairs and had a bowl of hot congee. Butler Li came to report again, saying all my personal belongings at the Lu residence had been inventoried without a single item missing, and the entire process had avoided the attention of the Lu family servants. No one noticed anything unusual. I sat down the bowl and glanced at the clock on the wall. It was already past 2:00 in the morning. The rain outside hadn't stopped. Lu Jingqin probably hadn't returned from the airport yet, and even if he had, he'd only find an empty room. I said to Butler Li, from now on, tell anyone who asks that I've gone back to the Su family's old mansion. Also, raise the villa security level to maximum. No one is allowed near without my permission. Butler Li said, Understood, madam. I'll arrange it right away. As dawn barely broke, the rain finally let up a little. Grayish light struggled through the clouds, casting a cold, desolate hue over the Lu family villa. The front door creaked open, and Lu Jingqin stumbled in, drenched to the bone. His black trench coat dripped with muddy rainwater. His hair plastered messily to his forehead. His face bore the exhaustion of a sleepless night, but there was also a faint trace of irritation he couldn't hide. He tossed his wet umbrella carelessly at the entrance and charged into the living room without even changing his shoes, muttering impatiently, Such Chingwa, I'm back. What's the big deal? Still throwing a tantrum. The living room was dead silent. The crystal chandelier was off, leaving only the dim hallway light glowing. The ribbons and petals from yesterday's wedding lay scattered on the floor, adding to the mess. He scanned the room, but didn't see such Chingwa. He checked the dining room and kitchen. Still empty. Lu Jingqin frowned, pulled out his phone to call Su Qinggu, and realized it had died. Irritated, he tossed the phone onto the sofa and charged upstairs to the master bedroom, thinking to himself that this woman was probably sulking in the bedroom. He'd just sweet-talk her a bit, promise her some resources from her family's company, and she'd calm down. The master bedroom door wasn't locked. Lu Jingqin pushed it open, but the sight inside froze him in place. The walk-in closet, which should have been stuffed with Su Qinggu's clothes, was wide open and half empty. The vanity table had been cleared out. The limited edition jewelry and skincare products were all gone. Even her favorite pink pillow had vanished from the bed. A chill ran down Lu Hunin's spine. A bad feeling surged up. He strode to the bathroom. One of the couple's toothbrushes was missing from the sink. Her skincare and cosmetics were all gone, leaving only his things sitting there. Lonely. Such Chinua. He raised his voice, shouting, but the sound echoed through the empty bedroom. With no response, he ran to the guest room, the study, even the storage room, searching everywhere. Not a trace of Su Qinggu, not even a strand of her hair. Just then, he heard footsteps downstairs. Turning around, he saw butler Li walking out of the kitchen with a breakfast tray, moving at a steady pace, his face expressionless. Lu Jingqin immediately rushed downstairs and grabbed butler Li's wrist, his tone urgent and laced with accusation. Butler Li, where's Su Qinggu? Where did she go? Did she go back to her parents' house? Butler Li freed himself from his grip, his movements neither servile nor arrogant, his tone exceptionally calm, even carrying a faint trace of detachment. Mr. Lu, let go first. I have something to tell you. The unease and Lu Jingqin's heart grew heavier. He released his grip and stepped back half a pace, his eyes fixed on Butler Li like a hawk. Where the hell did she go? Just tell me. Butler Li sat down the tray in his hands, straightened up, and spoke, word by word. Mr. Lu, the missus left last night, and she took every single bit of her 100 billion dowry with her. Not a penny left behind. What did you say? Lu Jingqin leaned in as if he hadn't heard clearly, his eyes wide open. 100 billion dowry. Took it. Are you kidding me? Wasn't that asset already registered under? He stopped mid-sentence before the wedding. The So family had promised a 100 billion dowry, but to protect Su Qinua's interests, all the assets were still under her name. The Lu family only had usage rights. Now that Su Qinua wanted to take them away, it was as easy as flipping her hand. Butler Li nodded, his tone still flat. That's right, Mr. Lu. After you left last night, the missus contacted the family's financial and legal teams. They transferred all the assets overnight. Cash, stocks, real estate, and even her personal belongings from the Lu residence. Everything's been moved out. There's nothing of hers left in this house now. These words struck Lu Jingqin like a thunderbolt. He froze on the spot as if hit by lightning, his face draining from red to ghostly pale. His lips trembled, and for a long moment, he couldn't utter a single word. He remembered such Chinua shouting at him last night. If you walk out that door, don't ever think about stepping back into this house. At the time, he thought it was just a woman's angry words, something he didn't take seriously. Now, he realized she wasn't throwing a tantrum. She was dead set on leaving a 100 billion dowry that was 100 billion. The Lu family's company was facing a cash flow crisis, and they were relying entirely on that dowry to stay afloat. He had even planned out how to use the money. How could it all vanish in the blink of an eye? The Lu Jingqin stumbled back 2 steps and collapsed onto the sofa, his hands still trembling uncontrollably. He stared at Butler Li, his voice cracking. Why did she do this? Wasn't it just picking someone up? Was it worth it? Where did she go? Tell me where she went. Butler Li glanced at him, a flicker of barely concealed mockery in his eyes. Mr. Lu, last night when you abandoned the missus on your wedding night and drove through the rain to pick up Miss Bai at the airport, you should have known this day would come. I can't tell you where the missus is, and as of last night, I'm no longer the butler of the Lu family. I only take orders from the Ms. now. Miss B. Lu Jingqin's heart sank again. He suddenly remembered that after he dropped by Ruachi off at the hotel last night, she had clung to him and talked for half the night, wasting a lot of time. Looking back now, it was clearly by Ruachi deliberately stalling, but he hadn't noticed it at the time. He shot up from the sofa and grabbed Butler Lee's arm with a force that nearly crushed the man's bones. "You have to tell me where she is, or I'll make you pay." Butler Lee remained unfazed, even gently freeing himself from Lu Jingqin's grip. "Mr. Lu, you should think about your own company's situation first. Without the Su family's 100 billion Dowry in resource support, how much longer can your company last? You know that better than I do." These words hit Lu Jingqin right where it hurt. He felt as if all his strength had been drained away, and he slumped back onto the sofa. Outside the window, the sky was growing brighter, but inside Lu Jin's heart, it was pitch black. He never imagined that just by picking up by Ruachi, he would lose a wife and the 100 billion Dowry that could save the Lu family's company. The price was far too steep. Lu Jingqin lay sprawled on the sofa, stunned for a full 10 minutes. Only when the chirping of birds outside pierced the morning silence did he snap back to reality. Like a madman, he lunged at the sofa, grabbed his dead phone, and bolted toward the entrance, shouting incoherently, "Charger! Where's my charger?" A servant heard the commotion and came out of the kitchen. Seeing his disheveled state, she quickly handed him a charger. Lu Jingqin fumbled to plug in his phone. The moment the screen lit up before it even fully loaded, he frantically opened his contacts, found Su Qingwa's number, and dialed. "Beep beep. The number you have dialed has been blocked. Please try again later." The cold electronic beep echoed from the receiver. Lu Jin's hand trembled, and his phone nearly slipped from his grasp. Unwilling to give up, he switched to his work number, even his backup phone, and dialed 5 or 6 times in a row. Every single call yielded the same robotic tone. "Impossible," Lu Jingqin growled, then opened WeChat to message such Qingwa, but he found that she had already removed him from her contact list. Even the entry point to her moments was gone. He tried her secondary account only to see the same not friends message, rendering him unable to send a single word. Lu Jingqin panicked completely. He stumbled to the entrance, grabbed his coat, and rushed out, nearly knocking over the breakfast tray on the dining table as he passed. The maid hurriedly called out, "Mr. Lu, aren't you going to eat something? It's still chilly outside." "Eat. Screw eating." Lu Jingqin roared without looking back, yanking open the door and diving into his car. He floored the accelerator, and the engine let out a piercing roar as the vehicle shot off toward the Su family's old mansion. 40 minutes later, the car screeched to a halt at the gates of the Su family estate. Lu Jingqin didn't even bother to close the car door properly before stumbling to the iron gate and shouting into the intercom, "Open up. It's Lu Jingqin. I need to see such Qinghua." There was a few seconds of silence on the other end, followed by the cold voice of the Su mansion's security guard. The guard says, "Miss Su isn't at the old mansion. Mr. Lu, please turn back. She's not here." "Bullshit," Lu Jingqin screamed, his eyes red-rimmed. "I'm her husband. I need to see her. Open the damn door." The guard replied. The guard says, "Mr. Su has long given orders that Mr. Lu is not allowed to set foot on the Su family property. If you keep causing trouble here, we'll call the cops." As the words fell, the surveillance camera beside the iron gate swiveled around, locking on to Lu Jingqin's face. He knew the Su family's rules and understood old Master Su's temper well enough. If it escalated to the police, the Lu family's face would be utterly disgraced. Gritting his teeth, he took 2 steps back. Lu Jingqin refused to give up. He pulled out his phone again and dialed old Master Su's number. It rang for a long time before someone picked up, and the voice on the other end was dignified and icy. Old Master Su said, "Lu Jingqin, you still have the nerve to call me." Lu Jingqin's tone instantly softened, even carrying a hint of pleading. "Grandpa Su, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have left Chingu on our wedding night. Can you please tell me where she is? I want to apologize to her. I want to bring her home." Old Master Su let out a cold laugh. his voice dripping with sarcasm. Lu Jingqin, your apology isn't for me to see, nor for Chinua to see. It's for yourself. I won't tell you where Chinua is, and you better stop looking. From the moment you abandoned her to pick up by Roachi, you too were finished. Grandpa Su, you can't do this. Lu Jingqin's voice was hoarse with desperation. The Lu family company is counting on Chinua's 100 billion Dowry to stay afloat. Without that money, the company is doomed. Old Master Su said, what does the Lu family company have to do with the Su family? That 100 billion is Chinua's safety net, not a whole filler for your Lu family. And starting today, the Su family will withdraw all resource support for the Lu family. You're on your own from now on. Beep, beep, beep. The call was cut off directly. Lu Jingqin stood frozen, clutching his phone, rooted to the spot. The Su family withdrawing resource support that was even more devastating than Chinua taking the 100 billion Dowry. His company was already teetering on the edge. Without the Su family's backing, it wouldn't last 2 weeks. Lu Jingqin gritted his teeth, got back into the car, and called his company's vice president. His tone was vicious, as if he wanted to devour someone. Lu Jingqin said, mobilize every connection and resource the company has right now. Search the entire city for Su Qingwa, the airport, high-speed rail, stations, private car depots, 5-star hotels, every single place you might be. Check them all. I need her found by today. The VP replied, Mr. Lu, this a citywide search seems a bit over the top, doesn't it? And if Miss Su is deliberately hiding, it won't be easy to find her. Stop wasting my time. Lu Jingqin bellowed. I told you to do it, so do it. If you can't find her, you're fired. After hanging up, Lu Jingqin contacted a friend in the police department, hoping to get help. Checking such Qingwa's travel records, Lu Jingqin said, Old Jiang, do me a favor. Check Su Qingwa's flight, train, and hotel check-in records. I need to find her urgently. Old Jiang replied, Mr. Lu, it's not that I don't want to help, but all of Miss Su's travel information has been specially encrypted. Our system can't access it at all, and higher-ups have given orders. No one is allowed to touch her data. Lu Jingqin's heart plummeted to rock bottom. It finally hit him. Such Qingwa had been prepared all along. Not only had she taken the 100 billion Dowry, but she'd also covered her tracks so thoroughly that even his connections in the police department couldn't dig up a single lead. He refused to give up. He drove to her usual beauty salon, her favorite cafe, and even the small shops she'd invested in. At every single place, the staff told him the same thing. Since yesterday's wedding ended, no one had seen Su Qingwa around noon. His company's vice president called his voice heavy with resignation. The VP said, Mr. Lu, we've searched every corner of the city. The airport says there's no record of Miss Su taking any domestic or international flights. The high-speed rail station and private bus terminals have no ticket purchases under her name. We've checked every hotel she's ever stayed at. No check-in records. Even the apartment she used to live in was vacated long ago. There's nothing. Not a single clue. Lu Jingqin gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles turning, white from the strain. He glanced up at the blazing sun overhead, but a chill ran through his entire body. He'd exhausted every connection and resource he had, from the Su family's old mansion down to the street corner shops, even calling in favors from the police, and still couldn't find so much as a strand of such Chinua's hair. Suddenly, Butler Lee's words from this morning echoed in his mind. Such Chinua had laid out every escape route long ago. From the moment he decided to pick up by Roachi, he'd already fallen into her trap. His frantic surge now was nothing but a futile joke. Lu Jingqin slammed his fist against the steering wheel, and the car let out a dull, mournful honk. He stared at the endless stream of people flowing past his window, his eyes filled with despair and resentment. Sukinua, where the hell are you hiding? Are you really so heartless that you won't even give me a chance to see you? He drove aimlessly through the streets for an entire morning. By the time the sun was directly overhead, he realized he hadn't even had a sip of water. His throat was so dry it felt like it was on fire. He glanced at his empty contact list. had nowhere else to go, and gritted his teeth as he turned the car toward the hotel where Bairuachi was staying. The car pulled up at the hotel entrance. Lu Jinggan straightened his wrinkled collar before pushing the door open and walking in. The moment he reached the room, the door swung open from the inside. Bairuachi stood therein, a delicate silk nightgown, her hair loosely tied up, her face still carrying the lazy look of someone just woken up. The second she saw him, she broke into a soft, sweet smile. Bairuachi said, "Jing Qin, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you all morning. I haven't even had breakfast yet." Lu Jingqin wasn't in the mood for pleasantries. He strode straight into the room, dropped onto the sofa, grabbed a bottle of water from the table, and chugged it down. After downing half the bottle, the burning in his throat finally eased a little by. Roachi followed him in, sat down beside him, and reached out to take his arm. But Lu Jingqin shook her off impatiently. Her hand froze in midair, a flicker of hurt in her eyes as her voice softened. Bairuachi said, "Jing, what's wrong? Did Su Chinua throw a tantrum? I knew I shouldn't have asked you to pick me up last night. It's all my fault. How about I go apologize to her?" That was the last straw. The words hit Lu Jingqin right where it hurt. He whipped his head around to glare at Ruachi, fury practically blazing in his eyes. "Apologize? What the hell are you apologizing for? If you hadn't insisted on calling me from the airport last night, would I have left Su Chinua behind? Now, look what's happened. She's run off with 100 billion Dowry. The Su family has pulled all their support, and my company is about to go under." Bairuachi flinched at his outburst, the hurt in her eyes quickly turning into defiance. She straightened up, her voice taking on an accusatory edge. Bairuachi said, "Lu Jingqin, what's that supposed to mean? Are you blaming me? If you hadn't begged me to come back, would I have given up my job overseas and flown all the way here? You said your heart belonged only to me, that marrying Su Qingua was just for the Lu family's business. Now that things have gone south, you're dumping all the blame on me." Lu Jingqin rubbed his throbbing temples, feeling like his head was about to explode. "When did I ever tell you to come back now? I told you to wait until I'd stabilized things with the Su family, until I'd gotten my hands on that 100 billion Dowry before I confronted her. But no, you had to pull the stunt on our wedding night. Now, such Chinui is gone. The money's gone. Are you happy now?" Bairuachi's face went pale. She bit her lip, her eyes glistening with tears, and her voice rose sharply. Bairuachi said, "No, I'm not happy. Lu Jingqin, I've been with you for years. Am I really worth less than that 100 billion? Dowry Sekinua leaving is a good thing. Divorce her and marry me. I'm the one who can spend the rest of my life with you. I can help you run the company. I'm way better than that spoiled Bratsa Chinua who just plays the princess." Those words sent Lu Jingqin into a rage. He shot to his feet, towering over Bairuachi, his voice dripping with contempt and disgust. Lu Jingqin said, "Mary, do you even know your place? You think the Su family's resources are that easy to get with Su Qinwan? My company is going bankrupt. I'll be a broke loser then. Would you still want to follow me?" "Bairuachi, don't think I don't know what you're scheming. You just want to use me to climb up, become Mrs. Lu, and get a piece of the Lu family fortune." Bairuachi never expected him to be so blunt. Her face flushed bright red as she jumped up from the sofa, pointing at Lu Jingqin's nose and cursing. "Lu Jingqin, you bastard. That's not what you said when you were chasing me. You called me. Your moonlight muse said Su Chinua was just a tool, and now that things have gone south, you're kicking me to the curb. Huh? Moonlight muse." Lu Jingqin let out a cold laugh, his eyes icy as if dipped in frost. "Let me tell you, from the moment you deliberately stalled last night and made me late getting home, you've meant nothing to me. I'm telling you, I don't have time for this crap right now. If you know what's good for you, pack your bags and get the hell back abroad. Stop causing me trouble." Bairuachi was completely stunned. She froze for a few seconds, then suddenly burst into tears. Sobbing and pounding the sofa cushions, Bairuachi said, "Lu Jingqin, you can't do this to me. I've given up so much for you. You can't just throw me away since Suchinu is gone. You have to marry me. Otherwise, I'll go to the media and expose you. Expose how you abandoned your wife on your wedding night to pick up your mistress. I'll ruin your reputation." Those words pushed Lu Jingqin over the edge. He grabbed by Ruachi's wrist, squeezing so hard she screamed in pain. Lu Jingqin said, "You dare. If you dare expose anything, I'll make sure you can't even stay in this city. You think I don't know about your dirty secrets? Those debts you racked up abroad. If you don't want them out in the open, you'd better keep your mouth shut and behave." By Ruachi's sobbing stopped abruptly. Her face went deathly pale as she stared at him in terror, never expecting he had investigated her. Her wrist ached under his grip, tears mixing with fear as they streamed down her face, but she couldn't utter a single word. Lu Jingqing released her hand, wiping his palm with disgust as if he touched something filthy. He walked to the door, grabbed his coat, and said without looking back, "I've already extended your hotel stay for 3 more days. If you're not gone by then, don't blame me for being harsh with that." He slammed the door shut with a bang, trapping by Ruachi's cries and curses inside the room. Lu Jingqin stood in the hallway, leaning against the cold wall, feeling utterly drained. He had come here looking for an outlet, only to end up burning every bridge with Ruachi. Now, not only had he lost such Qinghua and her billion-dollar dowry, but he'd also lost his last shred of comfort. He pulled out his phone and, against all reason, dialed Su Qinyue's number again. The only response was the cold, robotic tone of a blocked call. Lu Jingqin let out a bitter laugh, tossed his phone back into his pocket, and aimlessly walked toward the elevator. He had no idea where to go, or how his company, or his life, could possibly be salvaged. Morning light streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the West Villa, casting a glow over my desk as I signed the last asset consolidation document. Just then, Butlerly pushed open the door, holding a freshly pressed black business suit. Butlerly said, "Madam, Master Su wants you to come to the company. He says there's an important overseas project he needs to discuss with you. The driver is already waiting at the gate." I put down my pen, stood up, and took the suit, replying calmly, "Got it. I'll leave in 10 minutes." After changing into the sharp, tailored business attire, shedding the softness of the wedding dress, the woman in the mirror suddenly exuded a much more commanding aura. I straightened my collar in the reflection, grabbed the custom handbag from the desk, and headed straight downstairs. The black Bentley glided smoothly into the underground garage of Su Corporation's headquarters downtown. As I stepped into the elevator, I ran into the group's administrative director. He froze for a moment when he saw me, then quickly nodded and greeted me. Administrative director said, "Miss Su, you're here. The old master is already waiting for you in the top floor conference room." I gave a slight nod without saying much the moment the elevator doors opened. The employees who had been whispering in the hallway fell silent instantly, their eyes all fixed on me, before they looked at me with the casual label of Miss Su. The eyes. Now there was a hint of awe in their gazes. After all, news of what happened last night at the Lu family had already spread quietly through the circle, though no one dared to discuss it openly. In the top floor conference room, old Master Su was arguing with a few executives in front of a projection screen. When he saw me enter, he immediately smiled and waved me over. Old Master Su said, "Qinghua, come here. Perfect timing. Listen to this. Overseas Renewable Energy Project Proposal." I walked to the head of the conference table and sat down, scanning the project data on the projection screen. My fingertips tapped lightly on the tabletop. My tone calm, yet carrying an undeniable certainty. I said the core issue with this project isn't funding. It's the supply chain. The client demands the first batch delivered within 3 months. Domestic production lines can't keep up, but our Southeast Asian branch factory has idle capacity. If we transferred the technical team there, we can solve this problem. The executives in the room were taken aback. One of the technical directors quickly spoke up. The technical director said, "Miss Su, the equipment at the Southeast Asian branch has been idle for half a year. Restarting it will require significant funds and the skill level of the workers there is uneven. It might affect product quality. I looked up at him, casually pulled a report from the stack of documents, and tossed it onto the table. I said, "This is an assessment I had the legal and technical teams work on overnight. The equipment at the Southeast Asian branch only needs simple upgrades. I've already allocated a special fund of $5 billion for my transfer dowry. As for the workers, I've contacted a German technical training team. They'll be in place within 3 days, fully in time to meet the delivery schedule." The executives bent over to flip through the report, their eyes brightening with each page. The earlier arguments died down completely. Old Master Su looked at me. His eyes filled with pride and laughed as he patted the table. Old Master Su said, "Good, let's go with Chinua's plan. This project has been stalled for half a month because no one dared to make a decision. Now that you're at the helm, I'm relieved." I took the project agreement handed over by my assistant, flipped to the last page, picked up a pen, and signed my name with a crisp, decisive motion. I said, "Notify the Overseas Business Division to start the production line renovation this afternoon. The legal department will follow up on the contract details. The finance department will transfer the special fund to the designated account. I want a preliminary progress report within a week." The executives responded in unison. "Yes, President Su." From Miss Su to President Su, it took only half an hour, but it marked my official entry into the core of the Su Group. After the meeting, I had just returned to my new office when a video call from the overseas partner came through. The partner's representative said, "President Su, we've just received your proposal. I have to say your decision is even more decisive than we anticipated. We're willing to sign the formal contract immediately, and we can even raise the supply price by 2 percentage points." I curled the corner of my mouth, my tone neither serve nor arrogant. Cooperation is about mutual benefit as long as the delivery is on time and up to standard. There's plenty of room for more collaboration in the future. After hanging up, my assistant brought in another stack of documents and said, "President Su, this is a cooperation request from the LU Group sent this morning. They want to continue using the preferential policies the Su family previously offered, requesting a 3-month extension on their capital turnover period." I glanced at Lu Jingchen's signature on the document, tapped the cover lightly with my fingertip, and let out a cold laugh. I said, "Replied to them that the Su Group is terminating all cooperation with the Lu Group effective immediately. All previous preferential policies are revoked. The LU Group must repay their debts to us within 1 month or will take legal action directly." The assistant paused for a moment, then nodded. "Understood. I'll handle it right away." No sooner had the assistant left than Butler Lee's call came in, his tone carrying a hint of amusement. Butler Lee said, "Madam, I've just received news that several of the Lu Group's partners, upon hearing that you've taken over the Su Group and learning about your situation with Lu Jingchen, have already started pulling their investments. The Lu Group's stock price dropped 5 points at the market open this morning." I leaned back in my office chair, gazing at the city skyline outside the floor-to-ceiling window, my tone flat. Expected when he chose to betray me back then. He should have foreseen this outcome soon. After the group's PR department received inquiries from numerous media outlets, all probing into my marriage with Lu Jingchen and the termination of cooperation between the Su and Lu groups, I simply had the PR department issue a brief statement. MS Su Chenhua has dissolved her marriage with Mr. Lu Jingchen. All business decisions by the Su Group are based solely on the group's interests and are unrelated to personal emotions. The statement sent shock waves through the business world. Some admired my decisiveness, others lamented the marriage, and a few waited to see the Su Group stumble. But they didn't know that I held a dowry of $100 billion backed by the Su family's foundation. Even a bigger storm than the Lu Group could handle. I could weather it all. Lu Jingchen was dragged back to the company from a hotel entrance by his secretary's urgent call. As soon as he stepped into his office, he saw his vice president standing pale-faced before the stock price chart. On the screen, the green curve, which had dropped 5 points at the open, had now plunged to 12 points, plummeting like a cliff. Mr. Lu, you're finally here. The vice president's voice trembled as he dropped a stack of documents on the table. These just came in termination letters. The partner on the South City real estate project, the investor in the West City new energy project, and 3 long-term suppliers. All of them have sent notices to end our cooperation. Even the financing project we had lined up. The other party says they want to put it on hold. They said they'll decide based on our company situation. Lu Jingqin snatched up the documents, his fingers shaking. He flipped through a couple of pages before slamming them down hard on the table. Why didn't they all agree to long-term cooperation before? Why the sudden change of heart? The vice president swallowed hard, his tone cautious. Mr. Lu, it's the Su family. President Su issued a statement this morning saying she's dissolving the marriage with you and terminating all cooperation with the Lu Group. She's revoked the previous preferential policies and demands that we repay all debts within 1 month. Everyone in the industry knows the Su family's power. Seeing this, they're all afraid of being dragged down, so they pulled out. Such Qinghua Lu Jingqin gritted his teeth as he spat out the name, his chest tightening as if it might explode. Is she really this ruthless? No mercy at all. Just as he finished speaking, the desk phone rang. It was the client manager from their partner bank. Lu Jingqin took a deep breath, pressed the answer button, and tried to keep his voice calm. Lu Jingqin said, "Manager Wang, I was just about to call you about that 50 million loan our company has. Can we extend it for another 6 months?" Manager Wang said, "Mr. Lu, I'm really sorry. Our head office just issued a notice. Given your company's current operating status and credit rating, not only can we not extend the loan, but we're also requiring early repayment of the existing loan. You have 1 week to pay it off in full, or we'll have to start the collection process." What? Lu Jing's voice shot up. "You said before that we could extend it. How can you change your mind like this?" Manager Wang said, "Mr. Lu, there's nothing I can do. The Su family has already reached out to us, and with your company's stock price crashing like this, we're just trying to mitigate risk. Please understand." The call ended, and the dial tone buzzed in the receiver. Lu Jingqin slumped back into his office chair, feeling like the world was spinning. 50 million in loans due in a week, plus the Su family's debt to be settled in a month. And now, partners pulling out. The company's cash flow was completely cut off. He could barely scrape together enough to pay the employees' salaries. Just then, the finance director pushed open the door, holding a payroll sheet, his face even gluier than the vice president's. The finance director said, "Mr. Lu, this month's employee salaries, plus the penalties for breaching project contracts, add up to about 8 million. The company account only has a little over 3 million left. Nowhere near enough. And several core department heads just submitted their resignations, saying they've received high salary offers from other companies' resignations." Lu Jing shot up from his chair, strode over to the finance director, and snatched the resignation letters. "These are all longtime employees. How can they just walk out now?" The finance director said, "Mr. Lu, given the company's current state, everyone's afraid they won't get paid or that the company will go under. The offers they got paid double what we do, plus stock options. They're looking out for their own futures." Lu Jingqin gripped the resignation letters, his knuckles turning white. Suddenly, he remembered Su Qinghua warning him to keep an eye on the company's cash flow and retain key employees. But back then, his head was full of Bai Ruoqi, and he hadn't taken her words seriously. Now, he realized how stupid he'd been. He pulled out his phone, thinking he could borrow money from friends to tide things over. But as he scrolled through his contacts, those who'd once called him brother either didn't pick up or made excuses when they did. Lu Jingqin said, "President Xiang, it's Lu Jingqin. Can you lend me 10 million to get through this? Just for a month. I'll pay good interest." President Zhang said, "Jing, it's not that I don't want to help, but I'm tight on funds myself. Besides, the Su family has already put the word out. Anyone who works with the Lu Group is going against them. I don't dare to offend Old Man Su or President Su. You better find another way." After hanging up, Lu Jingqin hurled his phone onto the desk, the screen shattering instantly. He walked to the floor to ceiling window and stared down at the L Group sign below, feeling dizzy. He used to think he could keep the company afloat even without the Su family support. But now he realized that the Lu Group's success was built largely on the Su family's resources and Su Chinua's dowry. Without them, the company was just an empty shell, ready to collapse and to make things worse. Bairuachi called again. This time she wasn't sobbing, she was demanding answers. Bairuachi said, "Lu Jingqin, when are you going to deliver on that seaside villa you promised me? And what about my debts abroad? Didn't you say you'd pay them off? I need money urgently right now, so transfer me 5 million immediately." Lu Jingqin couldn't even afford to pay his employees' salaries at this point, let alone give her money. Suppressing his rage, he growled, "I have no money. The company's about to go bankrupt. Stop bothering me." Bairuachi said, "Bankrupt? Who are you kidding? You're the CEO of the Lu Group. How could you possibly be broke? I don't care if you don't give me the money. I'll go to your company and make a scene. Let everyone know you're a heartless bastard. How dare you?" Lu Jingqin trembled with fury, but deep down he knew Bairuachi would actually do it if she really went to the company and caused a scene. The Lu Group's reputation would be completely ruined. Just as he was speaking, the office door was pushed open again, and the front desk girl rushed in. Flustered, the front desk said, "Mr. Lu, it's bad. There's a crowd of reporters downstairs, all asking about our company's funding chain breaking and your engagement with Miss Su. A few suppliers are also blocking the entrance, demanding you pay the penalty fees immediately." Lu Jingqin walked to the window and looked down. Sure enough, a dense crowd had gathered outside the company building. The reporters' cameras flashed nonstop, and the suppliers held up signs, the scene a complete mess. He slumped into his chair, covering his face with his hands, feeling for the first time what it meant to be cornered with no way out. Lu Jingqin sat in his office for half an hour, staring at the growing crowd of debt collectors and reporters below. He flipped through his empty contact list, then finally gritted his teeth so hard he nearly cracked them, making the most humiliating decision of his life. To go to the Su Group and beg such Chinua to show mercy without bothering to tidy himself up. He grabbed his coat and rushed out, not even asking his driver to take him. He hailed a taxi himself and headed straight for the Su Group building when the car stopped. Downstairs, he looked up at the towering skyscraper and felt his legs as heavy as lead. But thinking of his nearly bankrupt company and the creditors blocking his door, he steeled himself and got out. The front desk at the Su Group stared at him for a moment. Then her face turned cold as she blocked his way. The front desk said, "Mr. Lu, our CEO, Su, has said you're not allowed to set foot in this building. Please leave. I need to see CEO Su. It's urgent." Lu Jingqin's voice carried a pleading tone. "Let me in. Just one meeting. Just one." The front desk said, "Mr. Lu, this is CEO Su's order and I can't disobey it. If you keep pushing, I'll call security." Lu Jingqin knew the front desk couldn't make decisions, so he walked straight to the square in front of the building, took a deep breath, and, under the gaze of everyone, dropped to his knees with a loud thud. This instantly drew the attention of everyone around. Passers-by stopped in their tracks. Employees of the Su Group peered out from the floor to ceiling windows, and even a few reporters who hadn't left yet immediately raised their cameras and crowded around, lenses all aimed at Lu Jingqin kneeling on the ground. "Look, isn't that Mr. Lu from the Lu Group? Why is he kneeling in front of the Su building? He must be here to beg CEO Su to let him off. Didn't you hear his company's about to go under? Serves him right. Who told him to ditch CEO Su on their wedding night to pick up that mistress?" The murmurs around him stabbed into Lu Jingqin's heart like needles. His face burned, and he wished he could crawl into a hole. But he gritted his teeth and shouted toward the building's entrance, "Chinua, I know I was wrong. I'm here to apologize. Please, for the sake of our marriage, save the Lu Group. Save me." His shouts drew even more onlookers. People took photos and gossiped, packing the square until it was jam-packed. Not long after, The glass doors of the building swung open, and a group of black-suited security guards came out first to maintain order. Then, Su Qingwa, flanked by Butler Lee and a crowd of executives, walked out slowly. She wore a tailored black suit skirt, her hair pulled back into a flawless low bun with delicate, understated makeup. Her high heels clicked against the marble floor, each step feeling like it landed on Lu Hunin's heart. She stopped about 3 meters away from him, her gaze calm as she looked down at him kneeling, showing no hint of emotion. When Lu Jingqin saw her, his eyes lit up. He struggled to crawl forward a couple of steps, his knees scraping against the rough concrete until they bled. But he didn't seem to notice. Lu Jingqin said, "Qingwa, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left you on our wedding night to pick up by Ruachi. I shouldn't have been so blinded and betrayed you. I'll cow out to you to apologize. Hit me, curse me, do whatever you want. Just please save the L group. Save me." With that, he actually bowed his head and knocked it hard against the ground in her direction. The thud was dull and heavy, and soon a red mark appeared on his forehead. The surrounding reporters clicked their shutters even faster, and the employees' murmurs grew louder. Yet, Su Qingwa remained expressionless, even stepping back half a step to avoid the direction of his cow. Su Qingwa said, "Lu Jingqin, what are you doing? We dissolved our marriage long ago. What does the life or death of your Lu Corporation have to do with me?" Lu Jingqin lifted his head, his face streaked with tears and mud, utterly disheveled. Lu Jingqin said, "Qingwa, even if we no longer have the bond of husband and wife, please, for the sake of our past, for the friendship between the Su and Lu families, help me this once. If you're willing to help me, I'll agree to anything. I can give you half of Lu Corporation shares. I'll be your servant. I beg you." Hearing this, Such Chinua let out a soft laugh, not loud, but clear enough to carry across the entire square. Su Chinua said, "Past feelings. Lu Jingqin, when you braved the rain on our wedding night to pick up by Ruachi, did you think about our past when you spent the night with her in a hotel, leaving me alone in our empty bridal chamber? Did you consider the Su family's honor?" She paused, raising her voice to ensure everyone present could hear. Su Qingwa said, "Let me tell everyone again. On our wedding night, this gentleman, my ex-husband, abandoned me, his newlywed wife in the bridal chamber to go pick up his lover by Ruachi at the airport. By the time he came back the next day, he found out I had taken the 100 billion dowry and left. Now that his company is bankrupt, he comes crawling here to beg me. Tell me, should I help him?" The moment she said this, the square erupted into chaos. "Oh my God, so it's true. Lu Jingqin is such a scumbag. She took the 100 billion dowry and left. Well done, CEO Su. That kind of trash deserves to lose everything. And he still dares to ask CEO Su for help. What a delusion." The reporter's cameras zoomed in closer, and Lu Jing's face turned instantly pale. He hadn't expected Su Qingwa to air this out in public, shredding the last shred of his dignity. He wanted to argue, but his lips trembled for a long time without a single word coming out. Su Qingwa watched his crestfallen state, her eyes devoid of any pity. Su Qingwa said, "Lu Jingqin, remember this. Today's outcome is entirely your own doing. When you betrayed me back then, you should have foreseen this day. You owe every penny of Lu Corporation's debt. And as for begging for mercy, you could kneel until the end of time, and I still won't soften." With that, she turned and walked toward the building, took 2 steps, then stopped and looked back to give orders to the butler. Such Qingwa said, "Butlerly, have security clear this area. Don't let irrelevant people block the company's entrance and disrupt the employees' work." Butlerly said, "Yes, Ko-Su." The security guards immediately stepped forward, hoisted the still, kneeling Lu Jingqin up and dragged him out of the square. Lu Jingqin struggled, shouting, "Qinua, I beg you." But Su Qinua's figure had already disappeared behind the glass doors. Never looking back, the crowd around him pointed and whispered, the reporter's flashlights blinding him as he was dragged to the roadside and dumped heavily on the ground by Ruachi. Completely abandoned by Lu Jingqin and left with nothing, poured all her resentment onto Su Qingwa. huddled in her hotel room, watching the news of Su Qinghua dominating the business world and seeing Lu Jingqin's pathetic state as he was dragged out of Su Corporation's building. Her eyes burned with venomous hatred. Su Qinghua, this is all your fault. If it weren't for you, Jingqin wouldn't have treated me like this, and I wouldn't have ended up in this mess. Bai Ruoqi clenched her phone, her nails nearly digging into her palm, and gritted her teeth as she muttered to herself, I'll make sure you're ruined, that you taste what it's like to have nothing after much thought. Bai Ruoqi set her sights on Su Qinghua's ongoing Southeast Asian new energy project. She paid a high price to hire a black market forgery team, fabricating a complete set of evidence, including a fake cooperation agreement between such Qinghua and an overseas shell company, forged fund transfer records, and so-called insider employee testimonies, all aimed at framing Su Qinghua for embezzling a special fund of 5 billion yuan through the project for commercial fraud and personal gain. Once everything was ready, Bai Ruoqi first anonymously sent this evidence to several media outlets that loved chasing financial gossip, then secretly dropped it into the commercial regulatory department's tip-off box. She timed it perfectly. The day before Su Corporation was set to sign the contract with its overseas partner, these bombshells exploded online in an instant, the hashtag suching a commercial fraud shot to the top of the trending list. The media's long lenses once again crowded the gates of Su Corporation, and regulatory officials arrived on site, demanding the company suspend the project and cooperate with the investigation in the group's conference room. The executives were pacing anxiously, and the technical director's face was full of worry. The technical director said, President, Su, the online public opinion is really against us right now. The partners have also sent an inquiry letter asking whether to postpone the signing. The regulatory officials are still waiting downstairs. What should we do? Such Qinghua, however, was exceptionally calm. She flipped through the evidence, forged by Bai Ruoqi, her fingertip lightly tracing the signature on the fake agreement, a cold smirk curling at the corner of her lips. Su Qinghua said, the signature on this agreement is somewhat well copied, but whenever I sign important documents, I leave a tiny micro mark next to the signature. Look here. She pointed to a corner of the signature. Everyone leaned in and saw a barely visible small cross mark which was completely absent from the forged agreement. Su Qinghua then picked up the transfer records. Every single transaction in our group's capital flow undergoes a triple review. The financial seal on this transfer record is fake. Its serial number doesn't match our records at all. As for the so-called internal employee testimony, go check the name on it. That person isn't even an employee of our company. At that moment, Butler Lee pushed the door open, holding a report in his hand. Butler Lee said, President Su, we found out these fake pieces of evidence were forged by Ruoqi through someone else. We've obtained her chat logs with the forgery team, the bank transfer records of her payments to them, and even footage of her sneaking a complaint letter into the regulatory mailbox. It turned out that Su Qinghua had long anticipated Bai Ruoqi wouldn't let it go. Earlier, she had instructed Butler Lee to have people monitor her movements. Every move Bai Ruoqi made was under surveillance. Such Qinghua nodded, her tone still steady, notified the legal department to immediately release a clarification announcement, put out all the evidence, the signature mark, the official seal registration info, and the solid proof of Bai Ruoqi's forgery. Also, contact the regulatory authorities and submit these materials. On top of that, sue Bai Ruoqi for false accusation and commercial defamation. She paused, then added, and schedule a press conference for 1 hour from now. I'll appear in person to clear this up. An hour later, the Su Group's press conference began on time. Su Qinghua sat on the stage, facing the reporters below. She first displayed the project's real capital flow and audit records, then released Bai Ruoqi's chat logs with the forgery team, the transfer vouchers, and the surveillance footage of her stuffing the complaint letter. Such Qinghua said regarding the online rumors of commercial fraud, they are completely baseless. These so-called pieces of evidence were deliberately forged by a mess. by Ruachi to take revenge on the Su group and on me personally. We have already filed a lawsuit to hold her legally accountable. The reporters instantly erupted, raising their hands to ask questions. A reporter said, President Su, why did Bai Ruachi do this? What grudges are there between you and her? Su Chinua looked at the camera, her tone flat, but brimming with confidence. Bai Ruachi is the mistress of my ex-husband, Lu Jingqin. On our wedding night, Lu Jingqin left me alone in the bridal chamber to go pick her up at the airport, which is why I chose to end the marriage. Later, when Lu Jingqin's company went bankrupt, Bai Ruachi got nothing out of it. So she redirected her resentment toward me and orchestrated this farce as Su Qingwa spoke. The big screen displayed surveillance footage of Lu Jingqin driving to the airport on their wedding night. Recordings of Ruachi pestering him at the hotel, and the complete chain of evidence of her hiring the forgery team after the press conference. Public opinion completely reversed. Netizens overwhelmingly cursed Bai Ruachi for her malice, while praising Su Chinua for her intelligence and decisiveness. The regulatory authorities quickly issued their investigation results, confirming that the Su Group's project was compliant and even opened a case against Ruachi for false accusations hiding in a hotel. Bai Ruachi watched the flood of online insults and the news of her being investigated. She panicked completely. She tried to flee, but as soon as she reached the hotel entrance, she was stopped by the police. A police officer said, Bai Ruachi, you are suspected of false accusation and commercial defamation. Please come with us to cooperate with the investigation. Bai Ruachi's legs gave out from fear. She collapsed on the ground, crying out, I didn't mean to. Such Chinua forced me to do this, but no one paid any attention to her cries. She was dragged by the police and shoved into the police car. Soon her dirty laundry, debts abroad, forged academic credentials, and her role as a homewrecker was all dug up and exposed. She was completely disgraced, with even her relatives and friends cutting ties with her. The full force of the law was still waiting for her. Bai Ruachi had been taken away by the police for 3 days when the bankruptcy liquidation announcement of the Lu Group flooded the front pages of every major financial platform. Lu Jingqin sold off all his real estate and private assets, even his luxury car that was barely 2 years old, selling it at a rock-bottom price, but it still wasn't enough to plug the company's gaping hole. In the end, he could only watch as the Lu Group sign was torn down from the office building. Former partners avoided him like the plague, and even his relatives shut their doors in his face that day. With only a few thousand yuan left in his pocket, Lu Jingqin crouched by a street-side food stall, gnawing on a cold steamed bun. A financial news alert popped up on his phone, the headline screaming, Su Group acquires Lu Group's high-quality assets. Southeast Asia New Energy Project officially launched. Such Chinua crowned new queen of business. He stared at the screen at the photo of Su Chinua in a tailored suit cutting the ribbon at the launch ceremony. In the picture, she was radiant, surrounded by domestic and international business tycoons, a world away from his own pathetic state. His hand, clutching the phone, trembled uncontrollably. Crumbs of the steamed bun scattered on the ground, and the food in his mouth turned tasteless. If only he hadn't been blinded by Ruachi back then. If only he hadn't abandoned such Chinua on their wedding night. The person standing by her side, sharing in her glory, should have been him. But there's no cure for regret in this world. He had destroyed everything with his own hands. Meanwhile, at the top floor celebration banquet of the Su Group, a tower of champagne glasses rose layer upon layer. Executives raised their glasses in celebration. Old Master Su, looking at the confident and spirited Su Qingwa, couldn't stop grinning from ear to ear. Old Master Su said, Qingwa, this acquisition of Lu Group's new energy production line, plus the smooth launch of the Southeast Asia project, has expanded our Su Group's industrial footprint by a full 30%. This move of yours was pure genius. Sukinua raised her champagne glass, clinking it with her grandfather's, her tone-calm grandfather. This is all thanks to the team's efforts. Besides, that production line from Lu Group was a perfect fit for our project. Acquiring it at a low price just filled our gaps. It's a case of making the best use of everything. The director of the Overseas Business Department quickly chimed in. President Su, if you hadn't foreseen the market trends and decisively snapped up Blue Group's quality assets, we never could have doubled our production capacity so fast. Now, even several major European clients are proactively reaching out, wanting to sign long-term supply agreements with us. At that moment, Butler Li walked over to Su Qinhua and reported in a low voice, Madam, I just received word Lu Jingqin sold off the last old house. 2. He's now renting a small single room in a village in the city. Earlier, he tried to find you for some odd jobs, but the security guard stopped him at the company gate. Upon hearing this, Su Qinghua merely cast a faint glance out the window, her expression unchanged. Don't bother with him. He chose his own path. It has nothing to do with us anymore. Halfway through the celebration banquet, the editor-in-chief of a top-tier domestic financial magazine suddenly showed up, wanting to do an exclusive interview with Su Qinghua. The headline was already drafted. From a billion-dollar diary to a winning hand. Su Qinghua's rise from abandoned wife to business queen. The assistant hesitated, asking, President Su, should we agree? I'm afraid it might stir up unnecessary gossip again. But Su Qinghua smiled and nodded. Agree. This is the perfect chance to let everyone know that a woman's confidence never comes from marriage. It comes from the strength she holds in her own hands. After the interview was published, Su Qinghua became an internet sensation overnight. Her story was hailed by countless netizens as the ultimate example of an independent woman. The Su Group's stock price soared, and her personal assets grew along with the project's profits. The 100 billion Dowry she had taken with her had nearly doubled in less than 6 months, making her a true billionaire female CEO. That day, just as Su Qinghua finished a cross-border video conference, Butler Li brought her another piece of news. Butler Li said, Madam, Bairuachi's case has been decided for false accusations and commercial defamation. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Her overseas creditors are also chasing her for debts. Her family has cut ties with her completely. No one is looking out for her. Su Qinghua paused for a moment as she was signing documents, then continued writing, her tone flat. She got what she deserved. The law will deliver justice to everyone. 2 more months passed. The Su Group spearheaded the formation of a new energy industry alliance, and Su Qinhua was elected as its chairperson. At the International New Energy Summit, she spoke as the Chinese representative. Her fluent bilingual delivery and precise industry insights turned heads among the overseas tycoons present. After the summit, a European business magnate proactively handed her his business card, hoping to forge a deep partnership. The business magnate said, Mrs. Su, your boldness and vision truly impress me. I believe our cooperation will create tremendous value. Su Qinhua smiled as she shook his hand. Win-win cooperation is the future of industry development. After the summit ended, Su Qinhua returned to China. The moment she stepped off the plane, she saw Su Corporation employees holding a banner to welcome her. Outside the car window, the city's neon lights glittered brilliantly. She caught a glimpse of her own reflection in the rearview mirror, and her mind drifted back to that rainy wedding night, to Lu Jingqin's resolute, retreating figure. It felt like a lifetime ago. She now lived in a hillside villa she had bought herself, surrounded by loyal subordinates and family, with a vast business empire in her hands. She no longer had to read anyone's expression or force herself to endure a fake marriage. One day, Su Qinhua had a rare moment of leisure, drinking tea with old Master Su in the courtyard of the old mansion. The old man looked at her and suddenly sighed. Qinhua, back when you married into the Lu family, Grandpa was worried you'd be wronged. Now it seems I worried for nothing. You're more capable than anyone. Such Qinghua refilled his tea, her eyes curving into a smile. Grandpa, it was the Su family that gave me the confidence. And that experience taught me that relying on anyone is never as good as relying on myself. Just as she spoke, her assistant sent a photo of Lu Jingqin hauling bricks at a construction site. Word had it that to pay off his debts, he could only survive on odd jobs. His former arrogance and ambition ground down to nothing. Su Qingui glanced at the photo, then put her phone away without another thought to her. Lu Qingqin and Brawachi were just passers-by on her life's journey. Her future was a sea of stars, endless business possibilities, and a truly dazzling life that belonged entirely to herself. 6 months later, at the annual Business Figures award ceremony, Such Qinghua stepped onto the stage in a flowing red gown, accepting the trophy for Outstanding Female Entrepreneur of the Year under the spotlight. Her smile was confident and radiant, and thunderous applause erupted from the audience. The host asked her, "President Su, could you offer some advice to women today?" Su Qinghua picked up the microphone, her voice clear and resolute. Never pin your life on someone else. Your confidence, your wealth, your future, all of it should be held in your own hands. When you're strong enough, every storm you face will become a medal on your journey forward. As her words faded, applause once again filled the entire venue. Standing on the stage, gazing at the countless lights in the audience, she knew she had truly reached the summit, becoming the absolute winner of her own life. From here on, every day would only shine brighter,